made an order first that prisoners to vote in the presidential elections, and number two, in the referendum. And that was done. Even the reasons why diaspora voters vote in Kenya is again because of another subsequent court decision. So that where we stand today, for purposes of Regulation 90, IEBC cannot give a single instance that in support of ensuring that as many Kenyans as possible will vote for the presidents of Kenya and exercise their rights to franchise has ever done anything. There is no evidence of that. Now, during the preparation of this petition and afterwards, for purposes of these kinds of violations of the right to franchise, it is a very serious thing across the world, because as many of us are entitled, and that is why even this right was given to prisoners, to ensure that we vote. You find in very many other countries where elections have been nullified because of the issue of franchise. But you do not have a single instance, at least to the best of my knowledge, that this has ever happened in Kenya. And this could probably explain why, even after the Constitution is clear on this issue, that facilitations be made to ensure as many people as possible, and those in special circumstances, those arrangements have never been done by IEBC. It is my submissions that, given the results that were declared on the 15th of August this year, voting by up to 700,000 voters, even if that was adjusted, how many of them could have been registered and how many of them could actually have voted to the actual averages, you would still have arrived at a very big figure of more than 300,000. That directly, and on account of non-compliance with an express provision of the law, were unable to vote. Did the failure to make that accommodation, those arrangements, to ensure those people voted affect the results of the elections? Undeniably. If those people had voted, it is our submissions that the results of the elections could have been affected. And my Lord, it's in my submissions that unless and until this honorable court take up that issue as a serious issue of violations of constitutional law, then Regulation 90 could as well be an empty piece of legislation. And therefore, part of the enforcement of ensuring that the universality, that the free franchise and universality of it is respected, would be to ensure that a very serious elections was violated on its account. And it is on that reason that when we read our submissions, we are urging the court to do exactly that. Issue number two has got everything to do with the fact that the duty of accountability and verification, as we had said, was violated at various stages. It is my submissions that there are at least 4 stages in which this happened. Number one, stage 1 ordinarily occurs the stage between 20th, the election period. A gazette notice was issued on 20th of January to signify the commencement of the election period. That period ended on the 8th of August. Then there is stage 2, voting day. Then there is stage 3, which is a 7 days period under the procedure set out under Article 138 of the Constitution. Stage 4, in my submission for purposes of a presidential election, it is the 21 days period under Article 40 of the Constitutions that you are dealing with right now. Now, what are the stages at stage 1? The issues at stage 1, and I will link them up with how they tie to the elections, is the fact that in this particular case, IEBC, according to my clients, was supposed to ensure that they set up a technology system that was transparent enough to ensure that the outcome would have credibility in the eyes of the electorate. The one single issue that we have pointed out for purposes of that in an elections where you've said you have recognized voters using Kim's kit It has been recorded. It is our submissions.